This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest Road to the 2024 Kentucky Derby video. And in this video, I'll analyze the Grade 3 Tampa Bay Derby at Tampa Bay Downs, Saturday, March 9th, 2024. 50 Kentucky Derby points to the winner, so it's basically a win and you're in for the Derby. If you're interested in checking out my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks reports, head on over to todaysracingdigest.com. When you get to their front page at the top near the left, you're going to see a Kentucky Derby tab. Click on that Derby tab. It'll take you over to the Digest Derby page, and there you'll be able to read all of my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks reports. I update my Kentucky Oaks report every Monday and my Kentucky Derby report every Tuesday, and then I post other Oaks and Derby related material throughout the week. So keep checking that Digest Kentucky Derby page if you want to check out that information. And if you're interested in a free complete digest from now through the end of April, go on over to todaysracingdigest.com on their complete digest page, and the complete digest tracks that they cover: Oaklawn, Gulfstream, and Santa Anita Park. If you're interested in a free complete digest from one of those tracks, go over to todaysracingdigest.com. On their complete digest page, use promo code Derby5424. And you can get one free complete digest from now to the end of April. In the description in this video, I will provide that promo code, and I'll provide a link to that complete digest page. And now we'll get into the analysis of this video. And we're going to be doing the 11th race at Tampa Bay Downs, Grade 3, $400,000 Tampa Bay Derby. And this race will be for 3-year-olds traveling a mile and a 16th on the main track. And the 11th race is scheduled for 5:18 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a 10-horse field, beginning with number 1, Heartened. And this is a $55,000 son of Street Boss for trainer Todd Pletcher. And Todd Pletcher has saddled the winner of the Tampa Bay Derby 6 times, including Tapit Trice last year. This horse is a recent maiden winner, so he is not as accomplished as some of the other Pletcher trainees that had success in this race. He was a well-beaten third in his debut at 6.5 furlongs on dirt. His next 2 races were turf routes. He was second by a neck from post 10 in October. And then his next turf route, that was his first start this year on January 6th, he rallied from the back of the pack to finish third. The top 2 finishers from that race were next out winners, and Heartened was a next out winner when he switched to dirt at Tampa Bay Downs at a mile and 40 yards, 40 cents on the dollar in that maiden special weight main track event. And he was stalking early, and then he dueled on the lead, and he was able to edge away and win by more than 4 lengths. Jose Ortiz rides back. He's going to be saving ground behind the speed. Everdoit is a horse that could show speed. Ended up dumping the rider in the Sam F. Davis, the local prep for this, at 127 to 1 odds. He set the pace in the Mucho Macho Man Stakes before weakening to last before that. And then he set the pace, and he was second in an optional claimer. And then a mile and 40 yards, he broke his maiden at Tampa Bay Downs back in December. So he's one that Antonio Gallardo is riding, and he can impact the pace. Give Me Liberty is next. This one was claimed out of his debut. He made his debut for Windstar Farm and Rudolph Brissett in a $100,000 maiden claiming race at Churchill Downs at 6.5 furlongs. He was 8th in a 12-horse field. He had some early trouble. Robertino Diodoro claimed him out of that race. And then in his last 2 starts at Oaklawn Park around 2 turns, fast track, he finished second on January 13th. That was a 1-mile race. And then a mile and a 16th in the slop last time. He was clearly second best. Third start after a layoff, stepping up into stakes company while still a maiden. And this one will probably end up stalking the pace, sitting somewhere near mid-pack. Good Money is next. He's one of 2 runners for trainer Chad Brown in this race. This is a $100,000 Keeneland sales grad. Good Magic, the sire, and Good Magic was a Chad Brown trainee. Distorted Humor, the dam sire. This one has some stamina influences in the pedigree. And Irad Ortiz Jr. will ride. 10-horse field debut at 7 furlongs at Tampa Bay Downs on January 26th. He had the intimidating inside post. He was able to work out a good stalking trip, and he was able to graduate by a length in that race. So now stretching out in distance in his second career start with that pedigree to handle the added ground, he can be up on the pace in here. Domestic Product is 8-5 morning line, and he's your second choice. And he's the second Chad Brown trainee in here. This is a son of Practical Joke. 4 starts and a win and a second. His career debut, he faced some good horses. That was at Saratoga at 6 furlongs last summer. He was no threat. He split a 10-horse field. He was beaten 12 lengths. Just Steel for trainer D. Wayne Lucas won that one by a nose over BU, a Todd Pletcher trainee. and Locked was third. And we've seen Just Steel come back and have some success, winning a stakes race in a sprint, and then hitting the board in a couple Kentucky Derby points races. BU, he ran well recently for Todd Pletcher winning, and then Locked is a Grade 1 winner for Pletcher as well. So he faced good horses in the debut. Second time out, mile and an eighth, he stretched out in distance, and he was able. He added blinkers that day. He chased from second, and he graduated by more than 4 lengths, and he defeated a horse named Sturdy. Sturdy is number 10 in this race, and he's still a maiden, so he's going to be running in this race as well. And then he ran in the Remsen Stakes, and that was a productive race. That Grade 2 in the mud over a speed favoring surface at a mile and an eighth on December 2nd at Aqueduct. He was stalking in fourth. He was within range, but then he got tired at the stretch. He was seventh, beaten 16 lengths. Not a great effort there, but that was a quality race because the winner there was Dornoch, and Dornoch was one of 7 horses to go wire to wire and win on the front end that day at Aqueduct. And Dornoch recently came back and won the Fountain of Youth Stakes last weekend. Sierra Leone, a domestic product stablemate, was beaten a nose in the Remsen, and he came back and he won the Grade 2 Risen Star Stakes at Fairgrounds in February. And Drum Roll Please was third in the Remsen for trainer Brad Cox, and then he came back and he won the Jerome Stakes in January, a Kentucky Derby points race. He has since been injured and he's off the Derby trail. Then Domestic Product made his first start this year in the Grade 3 Holy Bull Stakes. He was 14-1. He was removing blinkers, and he was meeting your 2-year-old champion Fierceness, but Fierceness did not win that race. Hades from the inside post was able to control the pace. And the pace was very slow, 25 flat, 50-2 for the half mile, 1:14-4. So Hades was enjoying life on the front end from the inside post. Fierceness didn't have a great start. He made a bid for the lead. He couldn't get past Hades. Hades had plenty left due to those slow fractions. He was able to win by 2 lengths over Domestic Product, stalking the pace, and he ended up finishing a solid second. And then Fierceness, your 2-year-old champ, was a clear third there. So now I think in this race, there's probably a bit more pace help. He's got good tactical speed. Tyler Gaffalione knows him now. I can see him improving in his second start after a layoff. Catire Vizcaya is a 30-1 long shot. He can impact the pace like he did in his first 2 sprint races. He dueled and he was second best in his debut at Saratoga, 5.5 furlongs, and then he went to 7 furlongs second time out and he wired the field. Last 2 starts, Rocky Run Stakes and an optional claiming race. That Rocky Run was in the mud at Delaware and he ran last there. And then last time in an optional claiming race at Tampa Bay at 7 furlongs, he was bumped at the start and didn't get involved. I think if you look at his first 2 starts when he was up on the pace, that's probably what they want to do in here. It does seem up against it. No More Time, your 7-5 morning line favorite. This one, Javier Castellano is going to ride for the first time for trainer Jose D'Angelo, a 20% trainer. This was a bargain $40,000 son of Not This Time, and he's already earned $156,000. A lot of that was earned in that Sam F. Davis front-running win last time. But in his debut at 5.5 furlongs, he was 7-1. He finished second. Then in his second career start, a 1-turn mile at Gulfstream, he was the favorite. He romped by 6 lengths. He was in the Mucho Macho Man Stakes on January 1st, and he had a troubled trip, and he ran 5th of 6. And then in his last start, in that Sam F. Davis, he took a lot of late money. He was the favorite. He got out there. He set the pace. The pace was quick, but he was able to run them off their feet. He was able to hold off late runner Agate Road and win that race by 1.25 lengths. Agate Road, a Todd Pletcher trainee, switching surfaces, was clearly second best. So now, No More Time. Third start after a layoff. He should be all over the pace in here. If he can get the same kind of trip and run that same kind of race as he did last time, got a decent shot. Crazy Mason was in the Sam F. Davis, but he was 6th, beaten 11 lengths. Prior to that, he did win an optional claiming race at 1 mile and 40 yards at Tampa Bay. He was 70 cents on the dollar, and that was a slow, early, fast, late event. He's putting blinkers back on in here. He did wear blinkers in his maiden win at 5.5 furlongs at Saratoga, and that was last summer. Grand Mo the First is a son of Uncle Mo. 4 starts, 2 wins, and 2 third-place finishes. He's 2 for 2 on all-weather ground. He won back-to-back races at 5 and 5.5 furlongs to begin his career in those synthetic sprints. And they were both at Gulfstream Park. And then he shipped to Santa Anita for the Grade 3 Zuma Beach, a 1-mile turf race. He was 3rd in that 8-horse field, an even effort. And then last time in the Swale Stakes, 7 furlongs on the main track. And he ended up finishing an even 3rd there. So he's been able to handle all-weather ground, turf, and the main track. And now we'll see in his second dirt start, stretching back out in distance, how he handles it. He'll try to come from off the pace. And then we have Sturdy, a maiden in here for trainer George Weaver, a $200,000 son of Matoli. He was third, beaten 20 lengths in his debut, but Locked and Drum Roll Please were 1-2 there, and they were both Kentucky Derby points race winners. Locked won the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity last year. As I mentioned, Drum Roll Please won the Jerome Stakes earlier this year. Domestic Product defeated him second time out when he stretched out in a mile and an eighth. It was a decent effort, him rallying from off the pace there. And then in his last start, mile and an eighth at Gulfstream on February 24th, he added Lasix. He rallied from last in a 6-horse field. He was third, beaten a half length. He had every chance in the stretch to go by, just wasn't able to get it done. And now he's going to come back in 2 weeks, face stakes horses from the outside post here. He'll probably try to rally from the back of the pack. I don't know that there's going to be a collapsing pace in here, but I think the pace will be honest. No more time. Certainly will probably want to be forwardly placed. Catire of Vizcaya, another one that could end up impacting the pace. You have good money stretching out for Chad Brown. He could be up there early. Everdoit, as he dumped the rider in the Sam F. Davis, but prior to that, he was all over the pace in 3 straight races. So the pace could be honest, and it looks like a Domestic Product could work out the best trip. He'll be my top choice. Now, none of these horses are on my Kentucky Derby list, but Domestic Product is on my Preakness list. So if you go over to the runawayhorse.com and you go over to my Preakness page, you can read my Preakness list that I put out last week. Domestic Product is one of the horses that is on there. The reason I put him on that list is because Chad Brown has had a lot of success with horses like this that seem to be not quite ready for the Derby, and maybe he does get 50 qualifying points here, and he could run in the Derby, and we'll see how all that plays out. But a lot of times, Chad Brown's had success in the Preakness. Horses that had enough points to run in the Derby, he just decided they weren't quite ready for that, and he pointed them to the Preakness. And we'll see if they do that with Domestic Product. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. There's a long way to go before we get to that point. But I've tabbed him as a potential Preakness candidate. And I think in this race, he can set a good tactical trip. Second start after a layoff. Tyler Gaffalione knows him now. And he should get more pace up than he did in the Holy Bull. That race just didn't set up for him, but he ran well anyway. And he's training forwardly for this. And I can see him running a decent race in here, stalking the pace, wearing down the leaders, and getting the job done. Some other horses to consider in here. No More Time is a front-running threat if he can run back to his Sam F. Davis. There's a chance that he could regress in here. We'll have to see how he does, but he's not going to offer a lot of value as the morning line favorite. 2 other horses that I like in here. Heartened on the inside for trainer Todd Pletcher. As I mentioned, Pletcher's won this race 6 times. I can see this horse improving. In that maiden race, it was a slow early, fast late event. He's going to save all the ground, and maybe he can get a piece of this under Jose Ortiz. And my live long shot is the second Chad Brown trainee, Good Money. I think that this horse has a decent shot under Irad Ortiz Jr. He's one that should continue to improve. I don't know if he's good enough to win a stakes race yet, but he is bred to get better with experience and distance, and he gets that 2-turn distance in this race, and he could run a better race. But I think this one's all about Domestic Product in the Tampa Bay Derby in here. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. That'll wrap up this video. And keep checking my YouTube channel for all of these Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks points race videos each week. And go over to todaysracingdigest.com to read my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks reports. Until I see you next time, good luck at the races.